resume the all right, just for later retrieval. So if you're interested in the recording of this webinar, you can drop your email if you did not register. I know for every registered participant, they will definitely be receiving the recording of the webinar. I'm so excited having all of you here today, as usual. So thank you for stopping by today, to attend this webinar. I know that you have a lot of things that you have on your calendar today, this Saturday, that you're planning to achieve. And I guarantee you, this particular webinar will worth your time. And in the next, let's say about 2 hours, we're going to be together trying to decipher what this cybersecurity is all about, because right now, cybersecurity is an household information, is an information that is trending right now. And I imagine that many people are wondering, what's it about this cybersecurity? Actually, what does it actually mean? Is this something for me? Is this something that I actually need to worry about? I mean, so many things. Even many people, they're thinking of transitioning into the cybersecurity and they don't know where to start from, right? So in this webinar today, we're going to be talking about cybersecurity, what it is. If you want to transition into cybersecurity, are you going to get, what will be the first step? How long will it take you? Those kind of information are things that I trust that I'll be able to pass across to everyone. And also, my name is Olukayode Oshilaja, and I will be the facilitator of this training today. I've been with My Proven Academy for more than 7 years, and I will tell you, helping people transition into the field, I've actually used my skills, my experience, guided a lot of people into the field of cybersecurity. And I believe for you that you are joining us for the first time, you are going to be part of those people that will positively impact, when it comes to this career together. All right, without much ado, I believe we can get started with the first thing first. All right, so let's talk about transitioning, that is changing from one field into cybersecurity, changing career. What does it entail? Today, we actually want to set your expectations right, and also by helping you to understand where you are going and also what you need to get to where you are going. Okay, so that is what we want to talk about in this webinar, right? If you have your friend that you are expecting to join this webinar, also you can share the link with them. It's not too late for them to also hop in and listen in and see if this is what they will love to do. All right, let me talk a little bit about myself. I know my mom told me, don't talk too much about yourself. It will be as if you are boasting, right? Now, looking beyond the advice of my mom, I will tell you one thing. I want to kind of give you a little bit of insight into my skill set and where I've been the past many years. Right. Currently, I work as a global vulnerability analyst for one of these corporate organizations. Is a global organization, and I lead that vulnerability management effort of that organization. And previously, I've worked for different federal governments. I've worked for NASA. I've worked for as Social Security Administration headquarters in the capacity of compliance analyst. I've helped this organization build their system from ground up. I remember one of the projects that I led during that time. They were migrating from on-prem, from the physical server into the cloud server, and I was able to work with them, to transition about 6 of their systems into the cloud. And compliance specialist is one of those roles that I've also filled previously. And also, in addition, I'm a security consultant with My Proven Academy. And this is actually my passion. I have a very strong passion for teaching and imparting knowledge. So I trust that all my career experience and also education background combined together will be able to guide you into this career, into this cybersecurity career. As you're going to be discovering along the line, you realize that cybersecurity could be perceived from 3 different perspectives. And my experience has actually granted me an overview of all these 3 environment or 3 domain of cybersecurity. I've successfully worked in those 3 domains. So that gave me a little bit of more insight into what it takes to transition into cybersecurity. So in addition to that, let's actually look at something. What about this webinar? What is it about this webinar? What do we stand to gain as relates to this webinar? Now, in this webinar, we want to talk about the career change and the requirement, that is needed for you to make a gainful career transition. And also in this webinar, we want to talk about, information that you need to make that successful career transition, and also everything about cybersecurity. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about our training, how we can mentor you into the field of cybersecurity. I believe everything begins from a particular point, right? So let's see where everything starts from. When you talk about transitioning, now, where do we start from? Now, the journey into a new career begins with you. You showing up today in this webinar today shows that you are willing to take the direction into a new career, right? So it begins with you, it begins with where you are, it begins with what you have, irrespective of the job that you're currently doing right now. There are so many transferable skills that you can bring into the field of cybersecurity that will make you, a relevant person in this field. So just know that don't look down on what you have right now, because generally speaking, you'll be able to make a gainful career transition. So we believe that the only thing that human being cannot do is what they cannot comprehend, what they do not understand. So that's why we want to make you understand what it means to transition into the field of cybersecurity. Now, if I'm going to ask every one of us right now and say, how long does it take me to transition? I mean, how long will it take you to transition from where you are into the field of cybersecurity? I believe that I will get so many responses. And probably you have seen so many adverts, that says that you can transition into the field, you can change job within 45 days, within 90 days, within 30 days, right? They are right. And at the same time, they are wrong. The reason is simply because how long it will take you to transition from one career into another career will be determined by two major factors. And I will quickly stop by and talk to us about these two factors. The first one is skill set, and the second one is your mindset. Your skill set and also your mindset. That's what will determine how long it will take you to transition from one level of career or from one career into the cybersecurity career. Now, what do I mean by skill set? Skill set talks about the skills that you have, your abilities that you have developed over time, and all that is required for you to function in that career. Cybersecurity skill set, for example. You need that skill set to function in the cybersecurity. And this skill set, you can acquire them through mentoring, through training, setting time apart, practice those things, identify a mentor that will tell you what you need and how you can use these skills. So you pay for the skills, you acquire the skill, you acquire the skills. That is the first thing. Now, the most important tool that you need, which is far superior than the skill set, is your mindset. What's your mental attitude towards learning new things? What's your mental attitude towards acquiring skills? What's your mental attitude, towards changing from one level to another? That's what will determine how long it will take you to transition from where you are to where you want to be. Now, as a Christian, I actually want to bring in this particular analogy, right? God told Abraham that you need to move from where you are to where I will show you. So in other words, what you need is that you need to depart from most of the things that you have held on so dear to be able to move on into the place where you ought to be. So in other words, your mindset will play a very, very important role in you transitioning, okay? And if you want to see the difference between a civilian and a soldier, it is the way they think. He was once a civilian. He was thrown into what we call a boot camp to strip him of the way a civilian will think. And at the end of this, whatever number of weeks of this boot camp, his orientation has changed from being a civilian to a soldier. So for us to actually make a successful career transitioning, our mindset has to change. Many people, they want to change into cybersecurity because there is money there. Many people want to change into this cybersecurity skill because my friend is doing it, and why won't I be able to do that, right? There are so many reasons, but the most important thing is that I want you to focus on the bigger picture, which is you learning new things that will give you an opportunity in life and even concerning your career. So, just like we know, every human being, success is our goal. If success is anything that we desire in our life, it means that we must make sure that our mindset and our skill set, they are able to match. Okay, that is very, very important for us. Okay, let's make sure that our skill set and mindset, they align together. All right, so now to emphasize the importance of skill set and mindset, I have this lady. I'm going to play a short, maybe like 5-minute video. She's going to explain to us 3 types of people. And at the end of our analogy of this, I will come back and kind of analyze what she said and see what we learned from what she said. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure that we are good with regards to the sound. If you can hear that sound, just show me your thumbs up, or you say, Let me just know that you can hear what she's saying. I'm playing the video right now.
There are 3 types of people in this world. Watch this video to find out which one of the types of people you are and what that means for you. So the first type of person is called a stressor. The stressor is determined. The stressor wants to get to this goal. They start taking action, they start moving to the goal, they start saying, okay, yeah, I'm getting closer. And then at some point, they hit what we call a plateau. So what do they do in order to move to the plateau? They stress out. They literally go, oh my God, okay, how do I do this? Should I try this? Okay, maybe I try this. Okay, let me try this way. Okay, everyone else, get out of my way. Eventually, they have a breakthrough. So they're off again and they're off on their journey and they're working really hard until eventually they hit another plateau. They repeat the pattern and they continue to stress out. Now, the good thing about the stressor is that they have a lot of perseverance often, so they do actually achieve their goal. Yet, if you're a stressor and you're seeing this pattern within yourself right now, ask yourself, is this really the most sustainable way to live your life? So the next type of person is called the dabbler. And so just like everyone else, the dabbler takes massive action and off they go. They start going for it, they start getting closer to their goal, and then eventually what happens? They hit a plateau. Now, here's the thing, the dabbler does something a little bit different to the stressor. The dabbler gives up. And the dabbler says, you know what? This actually wasn't for me. That's not my thing. I didn't really want that goal. You know what? I'm gonna try this other thing over here. And so they start something new. And off they go and they start something new and they're working towards their goal, and then eventually they hit a plateau. What happens? The dabbler says, well, that wasn't my thing either. In fact, watch me do this. I'm gonna make it like this. Here we go. And they start out and they start doing this new thing, and you see how the pattern keeps repeating. Now, the sad thing about the dabbler is that often they don't actually achieve their big goals because they're constantly restarting something new in a hope that maybe one day they'll make it. And then there's a third type of person. This type of person is called an achiever. And this person does something quite different to the stressor and quite different to the dabbler. So the achiever starts off and they start taking massive action, and off they go, they're moving closer towards their goal, and then what happens? You know the story. They hit a plateau. Now, what's different about the achiever is that they do not stress out at this point in time, and they definitely do not give up. The achiever does something different here. Step number 1, the achiever firstly stops. They stop. Secondly, they reconnect with why they want to get to this big goal. It's in those moments of the plateau that they reconnect to the big reason that's actually driving them to the goal. Step number 3 is that the stressor finds someone who has either gone through this plateau or who has helped someone go through this plateau before. And when they find that person, they tell them, look, I'm going through this plateau right now and it's hard and I'm struggling and I'm overwhelmed. And that person, that mentor, that coach who's been through that before says to them, oh, listen, achiever, I remember that plateau. Here's what you need to do. Stop doing this, start doing this, stop doing this, start doing this. The achiever says, thank you so much, and they go, and they take action, and off they go, and they get closer to their goal. And then what happens? Just like every other human, they hit a plateau, but once again, they follow the steps of the achiever instead of stressing out and instead of giving up. And what this means is that the achiever not only reaches their big goal, they do it with ease. So the big difference between the achiever and then the other types of people is simply that the achiever follows in the footsteps of the people who've been there before. I know for many of you, you've maybe associated with being the stressor or being the dabbler. And I want you to know that people are not their behavior. People are not their behavior, and you have a choice right now as to which type of person you choose to become. So if you're choosing right now from this moment to become an achiever, comment below and let me know that you're committed to being an achiever in this world.
All right, thank you
There are
very
three.
much. So that is Regan Hill and telling us about 3 types of people that we have. Okay. Now, probably when you listen to her, you've been able to see or identify yourself in that situation. Or can somebody, is anybody, you want to be vulnerable, you just want to tell us about what you learned from what Regan Hill said. Anyone open to talk? What did you pick from what she said? All right, Amaka, hey, go for it, man.
Good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear, man.
So I think I used to be someone that stressed a lot until I met you in 2019. And I remember you played video of us, trying to find our way, finding a mentor. And I remember that I did approach you if you could, be my mentor and all of those things. And I remember how you coached me, pushed me, and and then now, I'm just basking in the moment of what you've done for me in my life. So I'd say now I'm an achiever, and everything is just going smoothly. So I kind of understand what she was trying to say. It's really very important to get like a mentor, someone that has been there before you, someone that has gone through the struggles and just, tries to push you to be where you need to be. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so very much, Amaka. Okay, I think your last name didn't give you up on time. All right, thank you so much for that kind word. I really appreciate that. Right, I saw Larry. Was it Larry that tried to that unmuted himself, trying to say something, or somebody was trying to say something? All right, so let me talk about myself. Right, I had my BSc from Nigeria in electrical electronics, electronic options. I went to United Kingdom. I pick up the skill set also in network support, right? So when it was time for me to move down to United States, I found out that I'm in IT field now. So it would be easy for me, man, coming into this country. I came into this country and for 3 years, I would say I was stuck with regards to career. I could not proceed into the career that I loved so much. But I will tell you what I did not give up on. I knew that IT cybersecurity is my goal. That's what I want to do. A lot of suggestions, go and do nothing, go and do whatever thing. I couldn't stand the sight of blood. I knew none of those things could actually give me the fulfillment. As a matter of fact, along the line, I picked up a job in this oil field. I had to go to the offshore, right, to go and work. I did 6 weeks there. I had to give up. The salary was like higher as a salary, if you know what I mean, because what I was making in my previous job I was doing then to what I was making as this oil is like times 3, times 4. But it wasn't, for me, it wasn't what I was making, it's the fulfillment. So I had to move back. I quit the job. I returned back to my 1/3 salary job. But I kept on reading and learning and striving. I didn't have any mentor. So I felt that, okay, what I could do different, okay, I study. Maybe if I pick up education in United States, they will see I've spent money in the system, now they will have mercy on me. So I started my master's program in cybersecurity and information assurance. So while I started, somebody talked to me, oh, you're doing cybersecurity. I have somebody that train people. So he linked me with a mentor. So I went to the mentor and I talked to him, said, yeah, sure. 8 weeks training. Within 2 months that I finished that training, I got my first job. Now, what am I actually talking about? I may probably end up working in the field of cybersecurity, but I found that my journey to the field was expedited when I had identified a mentor, somebody that taught me, that guided me, that trained me, and now myself and him, we are still very good people, uh, people together. Now, one thing I also want you to know is this: till today, even many people that you train, he send them to me to mentor them, right? So why am I saying this? We will get to where we are going when we can learn from somebody that have gone through that same process before. Amaka spoke that time. Amaka, I remember those times when she came, she wanted to do training. I said, okay, yeah, this, and she went through the training. For almost 2 or 3 years, I never set my eyes on her until one day when she showed up in the office. At that time, she already gotten a job, and that is the very first time I will see her. And many people like that, that's actually gone through our mentoring training, and their story had actually changed. And I believe so much that each and every one of you also, you will be added to the list of people that we will consider that we have positively impacted your life. Okay, moving forward. So now let's talk about the cybersecurity mentoring program. What does it entails? Okay, you need to be mentored, and what are the things that you need to know while going into any of this training? I'm a big fan of you understanding what you want to invest your money in. What is in it for you? What are you going to gain? If you want to invest in any training, you identify any mentor, first and foremost, know where you are going. Do your own research. So whatever research that you have done will guide you as to what question you want to ask anybody that want to train you before you give that person money. I've seen a lot of people, they say, I've done this training before, I've done this training before, I've done this training before. And you keep putting money in those training, and in the middle of it, you find out that that's not even what you are cut out for. Many people are motivated into going to those training because one of your friends did it and is working, is making money, but you didn't take into perspective that you yourself, you may not have the capacity that your friend had that made him to work in, let's say, as a database administrator. Okay, so a lot of people have gone around different career, trying to see, and you're wasting money. And I don't want you to do that with regards to our own program. That's why we organize this webinar, to explain to you, to answer your questions. You can even take a quick look at our previous webinars also and see what questions that you have and which one that you have left to be answered. So in this webinar, I will just go through some of these objectives that will capture many questions that people are asking about. The first thing is, what about the cybersecurity skills that people are running head over heels on and trying to figure out what it is? What is it? Now, one thing about cybersecurity skills is that when you have these cybersecurity skills, you will always have jobs, right? There will always be an opportunity for you to work. Once you have the skills, it opens you up to a wealth of job opportunities. That's number one. Now, coming into the field of cybersecurity, you do not need cybersecurity degree, and you mark my word for that. If you have degree at all in anything, even in home economics, in Christian religious knowledge, in RLK, or whichever degree you have, it does not matter. Coming into this field of cybersecurity, you don't need cybersecurity degree to come into that field. Even if you do not have any degree at all, guess what? You can still work in the field of cybersecurity. When I was working for NASA, I happened to be one of the mentors, so that whenever they hire people, so the people that will mentor them, that will give them orientation for like 3 to 6 weeks or something like that, I will show them what they need to do, how they need to do their job. You see, many of them are high school graduates. In fact, some of them are high school dropouts. You understand? I remember two guys, they walk up to me, they said their last day in class was when their history teacher, who was a foreigner, came and started telling them story about America. They walk out of the class, and that was it. They never graduated. But guess what? They are working. I mentor them on the job, right? And I found that many people, they came into this country with opportunity to learn something new. Many come with a balloon of degrees, and yet they are working less money. Now, let's see what we can do to change their life. So whether you have a degree in cybersecurity or not, guess what? You have an opportunity. Any industry, they are looking for cybersecurity skills. Once you have that skills, you can definitely work in any industry, in any part of the world that you find yourself. Once you have the cybersecurity skills, you will be able to work in that field. No doubt about that. And also, talking about the compensation, it is very, very encouraging, right? You get paid very well because the cybersecurity skill is very, very competitive. A lot of people, you can change job at any time. You can fire your employer anytime, whenever you feel that you've gotten what you feel you needed. So what am I actually talking about? For them to retain you and retain your skills, they want to pay you more. So the compensations are very good. And when you talk about the work-life balance, it is very flexible. There is nothing that we are doing as a cybersecurity person that you cannot do remotely. That's just the truth. But it's just that some organization, they have a policy that you must work on site. So policy versus skill set, they know that eventually the skill set will win. Many companies, they have lost some of their cybersecurity professional because of the policies they put in place, right? So what am I actually letting you know? That once you have these cybersecurity skills, you control your career. It's not your job that will be controlling you, okay? So that is very important. Now let's talk about what is cybersecurity? Now, the definition of cybersecurity, if you can see the cyber and the security, cyber talks about something on the internet, that is invisible. Now, when we define cybersecurity, one of the things that I say is that is the practice of protecting data. Security, right? You are protecting data. Data is the most important thing to us, and you want to protect it. And you know that data could exist in different form, right? So the act of protecting data is what we are focusing on, right? Then also, we can define cybersecurity as the act of protecting the system that is hosting the data, right? You have your phone, right? No matter how much the cost of your phone, it stores information. And the first thing that you want to do is to make sure that you restrict access to your phone. That is, you are protecting your phone so as to protect your data. That, for example, if you look at your phone as a system that hosts your data, so also big organizations, and every organization, they are worried about the system that is hosting their data. So you protect the system to also protect the data. So that's pretty much the simplest definition of cybersecurity that you can get. Now, cybersecurity is a career, it is not a job. I just want to emphasize that. And simply because many people have walked up to me and say, hey, you know what? I like what I'm doing as whatever thing that I'm doing. I don't want to call out a particular name, but I just feel like, oh, they've been talking about cybersecurity. Let me get trained as a cybersecurity person so that I can be doing that in the evening. I will do my main job in the afternoon. I haven't seen much of any opportunity in cybersecurity that is part-time or that you can do at will. If you are coming into this field, you are coming with yourself, with your mind, with your resources, because it is a career, it is not a job. Now, to help us with understanding what's the difference between a job and a career. For a job, something that you do just to earn money to raise funds, right? That is a job, right? It doesn't have any required skill set that is needed for that, right? That is a job. But when you talk about career, it talks about a connected opportunity for employment. And it tells more about your future than your present. That is a career. When it is career, you have a lot of things to do with regards to time. It consumes your time, your resources. You are investing into that so as to get the best from your career. It is based on how much you invest into that career. That's what you get from the career. So when you talk about cybersecurity, it is a career. It is not a job. It's not something that you do for 30 days and say, you know what, I just don't want to do it again, or I want to do it part-time, or 3 to 4 and things like that. No, it's something that require your all. Okay, so that is important. That's to answer the question, by so many people that, oh, I want to do it as a job and not a career. Now, when you talk about cybersecurity, right, we say it's a cybersecurity field, right? So, and one of the characteristics of the field is that it's a big space of land that has probably an endless view, right? So also when you think about cybersecurity, it's a big field. It has so many opportunities. As a matter of fact, I try to perceive it this way. You see, if you consider this middle part, the cybersecurity domain, as where you are standing in a field or in a desert place, right? And you look to your north, south, east, and west, you see a big opportunities, right? Now, at that particular point, what is important to you is which direction do I want to go that will lead me to where I desire to be? That will be the most important question for you at that point, right? That is, where am I going? Which direction I want to go? At that point, it means that you need a navigation system to help you navigate to where you are going. So, but before you get there, you must have been able to understand what you need or which direction you are going. If you get on the sea on a cruise right now, everywhere you face leads to a particular destination. But for you to actually determine which destination you want to get to, after you identify where you are going to, then you need a navigation system, how you can get to where you want to go to, right? Take, for example, if you are going in the direction of physical security, you know which direction you want to face, for example. Now, despite the fact that we have this space of domains of opportunity in the field of cybersecurity, having worked in this field and also mentor people into this field, I have been able to summarize everything into three main domains. And these are the three main domains of cybersecurity. We have the compliance, we have the operation, and also we have the cloud security. These are the three broad domains of cybersecurity. If you know anyone that is working as cybersecurity, they are either in one or two or any of these domains. Now, let me give you a little bit of insight into what each of these domains actually mean. Now, in no particular order, I will start by talking about the operation. These are people that perform active threat analysis, right? You probably heard about blue team, red team. Now, they come from the perspective of the military terminology, in which you have the people that defend, the soldier that defend a nation, and always shopping and looking for enemy that is coming to invade. So these are the people that sit at the perimeter of the organization to monitor what are the threats that is coming to invade the organization. You can see them working as a Splunk analyst or vulnerability analyst, or so many roles that we have in that operation side of cybersecurity. Now, for those people, they need certain tools for them to function effectively. They probably need to have some scripting skills or programming skills or some level of skill sets, right, for them to function in that capacity. Then we see the people called the cloud security. Now, many things that we do right now, they are cloud-based. If you have any application, those applications are managed, virtually. They are hosted in the cloud. So what that means is that we have some people that develop that application in the field and manage that application. So, and then the provision some of those servers or the systems that manage those applications. So these are some of those roles that we have under the cloud security. Now, talking about the compliance, the large space in the field of compliance are the GRC analysts. GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance. Now, even from the word compliance, right, you see that we are talking about complying to what? So, which means there must have been a rule or certain expectations, rule, guidance, or regulation in place that the organization is trying to comply with, right? If there is no law, they say there is no sin, right? So once there is law, there is regulation, there is a framework in place, then you have, everyone must align with that regulation. So the role of compliance analyst is to ensure that every organization, they are aligning with the regulations that define their business functions. Okay, let me give an example, and which is a common example. We have what we call HIPAA regulation, and this HIPAA regulation is the one that guide the organization that deal with patient records, right? So all these medical people, they have to be HIPAA compliant, right? So which means whatever the HIPAA law says, they must comply with it. Now, for a compliance analyst is his own responsibility is to ensure that every organization, they are aligning with what the regulation that is guiding their business mission, they are aligning with it, basically. So from what I just described right now, you see that there is nothing much about the compliance analyst, no much of programming or no much of coding that is actually required for them to perform their function. What they need to know is that what is the law? What is the law saying? What is the organization doing? If the law says thou shalt not steal, and then the organization says that you are not, they said they are not stealing, then show me that you are not stealing. And let me see what you are doing compared to what you are expected to do. So the role of compliance is just to weigh between what the organizations are doing with what the law is actually saying. So what that means is that for anyone that wants to transition into the field of cybersecurity, and you know you don't like coding or programming or all of those good stuff, compliance will be your safe landing domain that you can actually begin from. And when we talk about compliance, we have thousands of frameworks out there, right? We have NIST, we have ISO, we have SOC, we have so many GLBA, SOCs, and all of those good stuff, right? But which one do you want to do? All of them is fine. But for this particular program, we're going to be focusing more on NIST. And NIST being the superior framework that every other framework, they take their cue from NIST, okay? So, which means our training is focused more on the compliance. Of course, we're going to throw in some aspect of operation and also the cloud security into the training, but just giving you an overview of what cybersecurity is, these are the three main domains of cybersecurity. Now, despite the fact that we have so many opportunities in the field of cybersecurity and people are hopping in day and night every now and then, but guess what? We still have a lot of shortage in the field of cybersecurity. So, and which means that we still need more people to come in and help in the field of cybersecurity. Let me borrow the word of Deborah Hawley, who happened to be a professor of cybersecurity at Brown University. This is what she said, and I will quote her verbatim. She said, sometimes it's perceived that only way of entering cybersecurity is through the technical door. That is, you must have some technical skill, programming and coding skills, right? But that's not the case. She said, whatever a person's talent with people, administration, management, education, or technology, there is almost certainly an aspect of cybersecurity for which their skills and experience are needed. Now, in short, what Deborah Ollie was saying is that anything that wherever you are right now, with regards to your career, whatever job you are doing right now, coming into the field of cybersecurity should not be difficult because there are so many transferable skills from that field into cybersecurity. Let me give you an example of one of those career that so many people, you believe it's not possible. People that are working in prison as a prison correctional officers. As a correctional officers, there are so many transferable skills that you can be working as correctional officers today, and you can transition directly into the field of cybersecurity, because what you are doing as correctional officers, number one, is to enforce security. In this time, physical security. You conduct what we call incident response. If any of those inmates is trying to raise an issue, you respond quickly to salvage the situation. What do we do in cybersecurity? It's exactly the same thing. But this time around, the data is what we are managing. So if you want to think yourself transitioning from, let's say, from nursing practice, from nursing profession into the cybersecurity, there are a lot of transferable skills, right, that you are bringing in as well. Even if you are transitioning from, let's say, a regular grocery store cashier, right, in which you interface with customer, you ask them if everything that they came in to do, they are able to do that. And if they have any question, you call your manager, you escalate to kind of meet the need of the people. All these are transferable skills. I can go on and on. So what am I actually telling you is that whatever you are doing right here, right now, you have some transferable skills that you can bring into the field of cybersecurity, and that you can start making difference. Okay, that is very, very important. I want to see if I can bring up let me see if I can bring up a screen where I'm going to be talking about. I want to show you what it means. I want to actually demonstrate. Let me put it that way. CyberSeek. If you go to cyberseek.org, right? Can you still see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So in this CyberSeek, right, I want to show you and prove to you some of the shortage that we are facing in the field of cybersecurity. Let me go first to the interactive map, okay? In this interactive map, you see the map of United States, right? And each state, they are color-coded, and the legends of each color is also specified here. It talks about the number of cybersecurity job openings in different states. So those states like Texas, like California, Florida, that have a deep color deep color, shows that at that place we have almost 60,000 advertised now, 60,000 job openings, cybersecurity job opening in those states. And those states that you see that have almost white colored legend, it shows that they have over 2,000 job openings. So which means every state has an opportunity, right? See, these are just estimated version. There are definitely more job than what they have specified here. Okay, but this is just an estimated number of job opening. So when you look at it at the national level, the supply and demand ratio of opportunity is 72%, right? Which means we still dealing with a lot of shortfalls. Okay, so now that's at the national level. And if you go state by state, for example, you see that you have different numbers. Okay, so what am I actually letting you know is that there are so many opportunities in the field of cybersecurity. Let's go to the career path, for example. Now, for anyone that goes through the boot camp, went through the boot camp to acquire the skills that is marketable, and you are able to match your skill set to what you are into the career that you're going into, which is cybersecurity, you are as well considered coming in at a mid-level because you have some level of marketable skill sets, right? So now if you see, you can come in as a cybersecurity analyst or consultant. So as cybersecurity analyst, the average salary of a cybersecurity analyst is 107,000. That's average, which means it could be more than that. I've seen people that their first job as cybersecurity analyst after the boot camp, they were earning almost 150,000, right? I've seen people it's 120,000, but average salary is 107. And then talking about the job opening, we have over 24,000 job opening advertised as cybersecurity analyst. Okay. Then also the same thing as consultant too. Consultant had about 118,000 annually, right? That's average. Again, you understand? So what am I actually talking about is that for people that are asking, oh, what's the average salary of a cybersecurity analyst? You have the answers. We have is over 100,000. I've been using this tool for quite some time. I remember one time it used to be 85,000. Later they bumped it to 97. It keep increasing every time. So which means people that have been in the field of cybersecurity before now and those that are coming in now, they probably might be at the same pay rate eventually. But the truth of the matter is, whenever you come in, there's an opportunity for you. Okay, so that's that about that. And many people also talk about what do we call that? Certification. Now, what I will tell you about certification is that certification is not cybersecurity, right? It is not cybersecurity. And this is the way I love to explain it. Many of us, we've been to school before to study certain things, maybe to study business administration. You went through the 4 years or you study accounting, for example. So you went through the 4 years of those education before you go take your ICANN exam, your certification exam, to determine your competence in that field. So also in this field of cybersecurity, bootcamp will be considered as more important than certification first, because during the boot camp, you are trying to sharpen your skill set. You are trying to mobilize some requirements, some required skills that is needed for you to function as cybersecurity. And then you can then start talking about which certification that you want to take. Now, with regards to certification, we have so many certifications out there that you can take, but you don't need all of them. Which one do you need? it will be depending on which direction of cybersecurity you are going into. If you are going into compliance, for example, one thing I would recommend is CISA, Certified Information Security Auditor, or CISM, which is Certified Information Security Manager, or you can do security plus also, which will give you the combination of both the technical and also the compliance field of competence, right? So, but that's not going to be our focus, but I just try to answer some of the questions about certification, because I keep getting those questions every time that, okay, at the end of this training, what certification am I getting? Right? The certification you're going to be getting is a certificate of completion, right? And it's not something specific to this thing, but we have resources for you when you want to do any of those certification. I just thought to throw that out there. So that is that about that. So I've kind of proven to you that we have so many shortages in the field of cybersecurity, which we can actually bridge those gaps by ensuring that we mentor more people into the field of cybersecurity. Now, talking about certification, I know I've talked about it, but this is what it looks like when it comes to certification. You see, if you follow this blue line, you see a lot of certification that you have there. So which one do you want to take? So let's finish the conversation about the boot camp, then we'll be able to tailor your advise you on which certification you can start working on. This is very important. Okay, it's good for us to have a preview of what the job market looks like, so that we want to know how we will be able to launch our skills into this field and be able to, you know, get, take advantage of what we have out there. Now, let's see what it looks like working and looking at ourselves from the perspective of employers. Now, for an employer to hire you into their role, the first thing they are looking for is that they need somebody that have the experience. Just the same way, you don't want to give your car, you don't want to repair your car and give it to somebody that doesn't know how to repair the car. So you don't give your car to somebody that look like a mechanic, you want to give it to a mechanic, right? So which means an experience is important. And we've talked about experience, that there are so many transferable skills that you can bring into the field. So coming into the field of cybersecurity will become easier if you know that you have what it takes to work there. Okay? Can you do the job? That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is a good news, because the employer will also tell you exactly what they are looking for. They're going to tell you this, for this person that wants to work as this so and so person, or as cybersecurity analyst, these are the job description. These are the things that you need to know. I keep telling people, and I keep challenging people. See, if you are coming into the field of cybersecurity, once you are able to understand which one you are going into, go ahead and do your own due diligence, do your research. Okay. Now, I mentioned to you compliance. What are the examples of the roles in compliance? I mentioned GRC analyst, right? Now, why can't somebody go ahead and go to Google, GRC analyst, what are the roles and responsibility, or what are the job description of a GRC analyst? That basic search will give you a lot of information that you need, that will guide you as to what you need to learn to work as a GRC analyst. This is important for everyone, all right? And I will encourage everyone to do that. Go and do a research. What are the things that I need to know? So if you want to go and do the training, now you have an idea of what you want to know first. And you ask whoever your mentor is, okay, are you going to teach me this, this, and this, so that you know what you're going to become at the end of the training, right? So job description is another thing. Also, you need the skills. Verbal, if you can read and write, welcome into cybersecurity field. This is important. Also, basic IT knowledge is important. What is IT? What is computer? What is server? What is networking? These are basic IT knowledge, right? And they are very important, okay? So you need to have basic IT knowledge. Even if you do not have it at all, our training will show you how to go about that. And of course, certification and education. Now, what we call education, the definition has actually changed, because it has gone past you enrolling in school and start sitting down to learn about what, and it takes you 4 years to do all of those things. Most of the times, you can pay for certain, maybe even not even pay, go on YouTube and search about how to configure, let's say, server or whatever thing you're looking for. You can pick up maybe 10-minute video that shows you how to do whatever question that you ask, and that is one of the ways by which you acquire education. You have been educated even just by listening to 10-minute video that shows you how to do that thing, okay? So certification only emphasizes your competence, but education will enhance your knowledge. So this is very important. And of course, you must be teachable. You must be a team player if you are going to get anything close to opportunity in the field of cybersecurity. Now, how do you acquire the skills? It is simple, okay? If you want to acquire the skills, you need to be trained, right? You need to prepare your resume, which means during the training, you acquire some skill sets, and those skills, you package them in a resume, and you compare your resume with the job description. And then once you compare your resume with the job description you're applying to, you apply to that position. And once you apply to that position and they see your resume more favorable, they are going to invite you for an interview. That is stage 4. And once you prepare for an interview, you went through the interview and bam, you get hired. Okay? So everything starts with getting trained before you get hired. So there must be some level of training that you put in place before you get to the 5th level, which is getting hired. Okay, so the good news is that my Proven Academy, okay, will be involved with you with regards to the stage 1 to 4. Whatever you need to get the 5th one will be taking you through this for 8 solid weeks, okay? And that is very important for you to know, that we are involved with you on this journey. So how do you prepare for the opportunities? Like we said, your mindset must be shifted. You must be able to dedicate yourself to learn something new, right? You must be able to learn something new. You strip yourself of what you have known before and you start learning something new. That is very, very important. You must dedicate your time to study, to learn, okay? is important. You are coming into a field that you will keep learning forever and ever. You keep learning something new every time. So you must be open to learning, right? Then also you need to surround yourself with people of like minds, okay? People that will support your career, people that knows where you're going, that will give you a boost and a support. Then also you need education and training. We cannot overemphasize that, okay? Now, college degree is one. If you do not have it, it's not a disadvantage, okay? It's very, very important. Now, of course, skills is required, right? Without technical skills, soft skills, all these are very, very important. Soft skill is cannot be overemphasized, okay? Do you know how to type in Microsoft Word? Do you know about Excel? Do you know about PowerPoint? It's okay for you not to answer no to any of these right now, but that is why we are here to guide you to that career that you so much believe in. Okay. And of course, we'll talk about certification, right? And give you the resources that you need that will help you transition into this career, and that will also give you opportunity to learn different career. Very, very important. And the last but never the least is that you need patience. You definitely need what we call patience. Okay. Many people will say, you know what, I want to do the training, and so that by January, I want to start working and start earning 2,000. So that I want to quit my job December 15, and by January 15, I want to start working as cybersecurity analyst. It is possible, but patience is more important, right? So in other words, you must allow yourself to grow. You must allow yourself to understand. But you will now be the one to determine how long it's going to take you to transition into the field. Okay? Because how much of it you know and you can articulate will give you more opportunity, and we expedite your journey into the field. Another analogy that I do give to people is that your proximity to the marketplace determine how quick you can get there. You have some people, they are living 5 miles from the marketplace. We have some people that are living 20 miles, from the marketplace. So how quickly you get there is going to be determined by your proximity to that and how fast you can run or move. Now, if coming into the field is the marketplace that we are talking about, so your proximity might be, maybe you have a little bit understanding of IT or cybersecurity and things like that. You might be 2 miles from the marketplace. Now, some people that are living like 50 miles from marketplace, maybe you don't even know so much about IT and things like that. So you still get to the marketplace, but how much of it can you learn within the short period of time to expedite your trip or your journey to the marketplace? So it's all depends on you. Now, I know there are so many marketing strategy gimmicks that is out there just to rile people up. You get into the field of cybersecurity within 20 days, within 45 days. I won't tell anybody BS. I will tell you straight up. You must, apart from you dedicating to learn, you need patience. And you will determine how long you're going to stay waiting. Okay? But that you will not get there, that is not true. You will get there, but you have to keep at it, keep working at it. You can't be a dabbler. You remember the analogy that the lady Regan Hill said. You said a dabbler quit. You stop doing this thing and start another thing again. You stop it and start doing it. And those people, they never achieve anything. Now a stressor is stressed himself out, but he got there eventually because he did it all by himself. Although it might take him a time to get there, but he got there. But now the achiever, the difference between an achiever from a stressor and a dabbler is that he faced these same challenges that every one of them faced, but he kept at it. He identified a mentor. What do you think is wrong with me? Is it my resume? Can you please review my resume if I'm doing something right? Or I want to go for an interview. This is the job description I've been reading. What do you think I need to add more or know more, to be able to get there? Okay, these are things that these are people, you need a mentor. And that is what My Proven Academy is there to provide for you. Mentorship, not just only training. Okay, so you will get there, but the most important thing is that you don't give up on yourself before your miracle shows up. It's very, very important. And as we do this, I know that success will be your portion, okay, as we move on. All right. So let me talk to you about My Proven Academy. I don't know if anybody have any question at this point, but I definitely know that I will answer every question at the time. Okay, this same person, please reach out to me at the end of the class. You send me a direct message, right? Just send me a direct message. You will see the number on the screen that will be described later. Now, that the number that you see will be a business line, but they will pass your information across to me. All right. I know you said that you need my help on something, in transitioning. We are here to help. That's just it. We are here to help. We have the passion to drive people into where they ought to be. Now let's talk about My Proven Academy. Our goal is simple, is very straightforward, okay? To equip everyone that wants to transition into the field of cybersecurity by providing them an affordable training and the resources that they need. Okay, we cooperate with them to achieve what they want to do. That is our passion, and that's been our passion from the beginning, and it will not change. Okay, now we have helped a lot of people. I know that some of our past students, they are here, and they've testified. Many of them have transitioned into the field of cybersecurity right now. Amaka is an example. She has become a director currently in our place of work. She spoke initially, and when did she start? She told you when she transitioned into the field. And we're still in touch. She can call me anytime from now. She can show up at our office right now. We have track record. We have an office. We are not running away. We have places that you can see us. If you want to meet me one-on-one, flesh and blood, we have an information that you can reach out on. We are passionate about what we do. We have confidence in what we do, and that is important. Now, let's talk about our training. Now, our training is in two phases. The first one is called live online mentoring training, right? Or program. It is like not one-on-one, like a live session like this, okay? When you see the mentor and you talk, you ask questions, 3 hours every Saturday, starting from January. Our training is delayed in January right now. So just to allow more people to register. Okay, so few people have registered before, but we are targeting a certain number, and you can also register. So that's a live online mentoring training, 3 hours for 8 weeks. Okay, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Okay, that is live mentoring training. Now, the second tier of our training is self-paced program. That is like we call it on-demand training. Now, this on-demand, we have the training resources that have over 19,000 trainings. That's where you ask you to just go and be learning more things, right? Now, we are not saying that we can teach you everything that you need to know to become a cybersecurity analyst. We may not be able to catch up with that within those 8 weeks, but we give you access to other resources where you can learn things at your pace. If you know that, you don't know about computer, right? You want to go and learn about it, maybe like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So those resources are there for every registered student, right? And this value is worth more than 7,000, all right? But we are giving all of this training to all our students for just $2,000. So which means with us, for us, with regards to this boot camp, you are not spending more than 2,000. No hidden fees. Only if you want to add tips anyway. So every Saturday, the next training is starting January 6th to March the 2nd, 2024, right? But register early. Now, the good thing about those that want to register early, you need a minimum of $1,000, and we will give you access to our previous recordings, right, of the weekly training that we talked about, so that you can start learning things before January 6th. So by the time January 6th comes, guess what? You are starting with a live online training. So that time you've gotten enough information. Tony was also one of those people. No, Deborah. She was one of those people. She got a job before the end of the 8 weeks. You know how she did it? She had registered before the class started. She had access to the resources before the class started, and she had started learning. So by the time we started, she was just hearing that thing again and again. So it was like she's learning something over and again, what she already learned. At that time, she had built enough capacity and confidence to do the interview. It was at the 6th class of the 8th week that she told me that she got a job. I was so confused. I said, no, no, no. Which job did you get? Not the care job, right? She said, no, cybersecurity. She showed me the offer letter, right? So what am I actually talking to you about is that we give you enough access to the resources before the class starts, so you'll be learning before that time. So when that time comes, it will be so easy for you to make everything work for you. Okay, so the method of payment is simple. You can use Zelle to that number, to that email address, or you use PayPal if you are using credit card. Okay, but that number that you have, do not lose that number. Do a screenshot, and we also have a WhatsApp message attached to that phone number. You can send us WhatsApp message, you can send us email, you can send us information or question also. If you are unable to answer all your questions right now, believe you me, you can reach out to us. And now the admin will definitely pass your information across to me directly. So, but for every registered student, they have access to my direct phone numbers. Okay. So that is also important. So we've been doing this thing. We have over 20 years experience, under our belt, and then we are providing a resume review will be part of what we are talking about. We're going to be also talking about some job interview questions and answers, right? Walking you through some of this information and then helping you to understand what you will need to do to get to be gainfully employed. And the good thing is that at the end of the 8 weeks training, right? You're going to be joining other, we call them Cybersecurity Congress. Everyone that have gone through our training since inception till now, we're still keeping tabs with them and arranging, staying in touch with them, giving them tips that they need to transition into the field or things that will help them, change their career. This is what we provide. Now, let me give you a little bit of rundown of the curriculum, what you're going to be learning during the live online mentoring training from week 1 to week 8, okay? We'll talk about the information security, talking about computer technology. Again, if you don't know anything about IT, about computer, that week 1 will be able to talk about that. Week 2, we talk about the network security and protocols, cybersecurity fundamentals, rules and responsibility, assessment and authorization. Okay, we'll go into that one and keep going and on. We begin to build that step by step, layer upon layer, until you feel very, very comfortable, right? These are the things that we are going to be doing. You see that we talked about cloud computing. We're going to be addressing some areas of cloud security as one of the domain of cybersecurity. You see vulnerability scanning and management. That talks about the operation side of cybersecurity. So on and on, these are things that you are going to be learning during this 8 weeks training. All right. So that being said, I don't know if we have any question. Again, you know the number to call just in case you have questions to ask. Remember, this is the number that you will call. And if you want to also register, you have question, send us a text, WhatsApp preferably, to that question, to that number, and then we'll be able to work with you to get to where you are going to. We have our passion aligned with yours, and then we will see what God will do with you through us, or that we'll be able to do together to achieve your goal. All right, thank you all for listening. I don't know if you have any live question in the class. If there is none, that would be great as well. Okay. Any question? Again, I want to really appreciate everyone for joining, for signing up for this training. The video will be sent out to everyone that attended the training and also everyone that registered. And at the end of it all, together, testimony will be our portion. Thank you, everyone, and have a very wonderful
Hello,
week.
sir. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Tajuddin, please go for it, sir.
Yeah, please, I want to confirm that maybe because I'm a newly person in America here, but
Okay, sir.
I'm interested to be a member how to learn Cyber Cafe. But what I'm looking at is that this seminar you are doing for us now, or what you are getting us, is it before the actual time of January 4? You still have ongoing this thing every Saturday, before Saturday,
No.
or this just the what you have for us today?
Okay, so this is a webinar just to
Okay.
prepare you and to give you information. So
Okay.
between now and January 6th,
Okay.
there's no session. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
if anyone register to attend the training from January 6th, that is, you're going to pay, right?
Yeah.
So even if you pay $1,000, we'll give you access to the resources which you
Okay.
can start learning on your own until
Okay.
January 6th. But the live mentoring program will start January 6th to March 7th. 2nd,
Okay. Okay.
2024. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, Mr. Tajuddin. And if you have any other question too, even after this, I will be able
Okay.
to answer that
Okay.
privately.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So thank you again, everyone, and have a very wonderful weekend ahead of you.
You are welcome, sir.